Pisces, they say that home is where the heart is, right? And if you look at your horoscope this month, well, home is where 4 planets are, at least, but this is really where your heart is. There's a strong inward focus, strong domestic focus this month. Venus moves out of this 4th house on the 3rd, so it takes a little of the sort of traffic jam of energy there and disperses it a little bit, but you've still got this retrograde Mercury, which is a planet of thinking, a planet of ideas, a planet of communication. And of course, when it's retrograde, and it's not a particularly friendly planet to your sun sign, it causes you to have second thoughts about what you're doing. In some cases, if you don't trust your intuition, and you, out of most of the signs, is probably one of the most intuitive. 12th sign of the zodiac, spiritual, intuitive Pisces. You've got to trust that intuition. And the home is where the heart is, comes into play, because that intuition is not going to be firing on all 8 cylinders if you're in a situation where you really don't feel you should be. So I want you this month to use the retrograde Mercury to think carefully about where you are domestically, contextually. Where are you sitting? Is your heart actually where you are, or is it somewhere else? Because that's going to damage you in some way or other. You'll notice there, have a look at the moon swinging around here on the 10th, in the company of that retrograde Mercury, here in this 4th house, a new moon. So it's at that point, I think, it's what I'd call the tipping point for your reading this month, where you start to seriously look at realigning your heart with your heart's desire, rather than being in a stalemate situation, cold comfort, a scenario which is not really where you want to be, but it pays the bills, and it's better than, it could be worse. That sort of thing. No, well, it could be better. And so there's 2 points. There's that new moon that we just mentioned there on the 10th. And then a little later, we're going to have a look at the turning point for Mercury when it goes into its direct motion at that time. Now, you notice also the sun here. The sun will continue to remain here in this 4th house of property, domestic affairs, your mother, your peace of mind. It rules your 6th house. Mars moves to the 6th on the 17th. Therefore, the sun, at that point, in its house, has this fiery Mars. So that could be an omen for some rather heated conflicts, or possibly on a more positive note, a positive call to action, where you decide you are going to actually do something about this situation. Now, there's the adage that says, while Mercury is retrograde, you should never sign documents, or you should never do this, that, or the other. To some extent, that's true. I think you have this desire to maybe change your domestic circumstances. That can happen around the 21st during this new solar phase of the ingress. That's called the solar transit into the star sign of Cancer there. The creative area of your horoscope. You're going to get a lot more creativity as this moves through the 5th house. And on the 23rd, 24th, as I mentioned, that Mercury, which has been delaying things for you, finally gives the go-ahead. The aha moment may occur at that time. If people haven't been amenable to discussions, especially in your family life, notice the full moon there. The moon is one of the significators of family and mother, domestic affairs. And in the 11th house, that can bring fulfillment. So there's 2 or 3 things there for you, Pisces, that indicate an opportunity for you. And I'll focus mainly on your home life and that domestic sphere, to change that, to make it more amenable to what it is you want, to bring it in alignment with your heart and your mind. So the heart, mind, and the actions are all working in concert. Venus moves to your 6th house there on the 28th, 29th. And so there's a refocus there on your working life. 6th house is your work, co-workers, and that sort of thing. It's the quality of your service. You notice the other nice thing here, although Jupiter goes retrograde at this time as well as your ruler, Jupiter, transiting here in your sun sign. It's only a couple of degrees in. So it brings you into your own element, but we're going to talk about that retrograde next month because that mixes things up a little bit for you, so you need to be prepared for that. But at least by the end of this month, I think you've got a few green lights to bring yourself back into alignment of what you want on the home front, in your personal relationships, because I haven't mentioned that too much. Note that Mercury is the ruler of your 7th house of marital affairs. So there could be some opposition there from your partner. For example, if you want to move house, partner doesn't want to move house. So you're stuck in a situation where you don't necessarily have the support. You feel as though you should be supporting your partner, but then deep down within yourself you're saying, this really sucks because this should be a mutually supportive system. Anyhow, things will move forward for you. It's something that's an ongoing drama. This is the Piscean drama. Find out more about it though at astrology.com.au. I've written up some other text-based transits for this coming month and also for the rest of the year. Drop me a note here. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'm going to see you here next month, I hope. Bye-bye. Stay safe.